Welcome to Homebrew House. Today's topic, Tieflings, Aasimar, and Genasi. I love these guys, but I've always wanted to play as races other than humans that were touched by the planes. So I came up with an option to use Tieflings, Aasimar, and Genasi as sub-races that can be applied to any race rather than them being races unto themselves. I present to you the Plane-Touched. The Plane-Touched have no base race. They are a sub-race that can be applied to any race. They often look almost like their base race, but with one or two markers that identify the person as a Plane-Touched. Many of the Touched are seen as tainted by outside forces, causing most to become exiles, hermits, criminals, or adventurers. Plane-Touched have no base traits. They use the traits of their base race, only using the following options for the chosen subrace. Aasimar. Aasimar are Plane-Touched who derive their touch from the higher realms, such as heaven or the astral plane. The Aasimar most commonly exhibit 2 or 3 of the following most common physical marks: heterochromia, ghostly incorporeal wings or glowing eyes when chosen abilities or spells are used, pale pastel skin, precious metallic-hued hair or eyes, a smell of mountain air, a dim halo of light, or the sound of angelic laughter with the voice. Aasimar are known for being able to see into the truth of things. Your wisdom score increases by 1. Choose a divine gift. Detailed below are the gifts from Tarael the Archangel, Lord of the Holy Host and leader of the choirs of heaven; Asmodeus the Fallen, former Archangel and usurper of the throne of heaven, cast down into the pit for his pride; and the gift of the Silver Void, signifying a tie to the astral plane, which opens up roads of consciousness. Gift of Tarael the Archangel. You have resistance to radiant damage and can cast the Light cantrip. At 3rd level, you can, as an action, gain a fly speed of 30 feet for up to 1 minute, or until you end the effect as a bonus action. You can use this ability again once you complete a long rest. Gift of Asmodeus the Fallen. You have resistance to radiant damage and can cast the Light cantrip. At 3rd level, you can, as an action, gain a Fear Aura for 1 minute that causes anyone that enters or begins their turn within 10 feet of you to make a Wisdom saving throw, DC 8 plus your proficiency bonus plus Wisdom modifier, or become frightened of you. You can use this ability again once you complete a long rest. Gift of the Silver Void. You have resistance to psychic damage and can cast the Message cantrip. At 3rd level, you can cast the Charm Person spell as a 2nd level spell once per long rest, and at 5th level you can cast Detect Thoughts once per long rest. Wisdom is your spellcasting ability for these spells. If you have levels in a class that gives you the spellcasting ability, you can prepare these spells as though they were on your spell list. They do not count against your number of spells known. Genasi. Genasi are those born under the influence of the wild places, the elemental planes, or the lands of the Fae. Choose a primal origin. The Genasi have physical marks that show their ties to the planes, the most common being the following: colored and textured skin or hair, earthen or stone light, wet and blue to green, cold and pale blue to white, warm and red to gold, green and leafy. Elemental traits in the eyes, a smell of the natural elements, animalistic ears or eyes, small antlers or a short unicorn horn, an animalistic tail, ears, and teeth. Genasi are known for their ties to the natural world, making them hardier folk than most. Your constitution score increases by 1. Choose a primal origin. Detailed below are the origins for each of the elemental planes and from the Feywild, indicating a tie to the realms of Fey. Earthbound. You gain resistance to lightning damage and can cast the Move Earth cantrip. You calculate your encumbrance as though your strength were 4 higher, and you have advantage on saving throws to avoid exhaustion. Seaborn. You gain resistance to acid damage and can cast the Shape Water cantrip. You have a swim speed 10 feet less than your walking speed and can breathe water and air. Windborn. You are resistant to cold damage and can cast the Gust cantrip. You have a climb speed 10 feet less than your walking speed, you take half damage from falling, and you have advantage on any saving throw you would make to avoid exhaustion by lack of air. Flamebound. You are resistant to fire damage and can cast the Control Flames cantrip. If you drop to 0 hit points and are not killed outright, you can drop to 1 hit point instead. You cannot do this again until you complete a long rest. This ability can be used even if another ability gives you the same option. Feytwined. You are resistant to poison damage and can cast the Minor Illusion cantrip. You have dark vision out to 60 feet, and can take the hide action as a bonus action while lightly obscured by natural cover, tall grass, snow, etc. Tieflings. Tieflings are plain touch to derive their touch from the lower realms, such as Hell, the Abyss, or the Shadowfell. Tieflings usually have 2 or 3 marks showing the unholy taint they carry: a pale and gaunt appearance, blood red, dark blue, or jet black skin, vampire-like teeth, horns and a spaded tail, boils and pustules over the skin, jet black or bone white hair, a snake-like tongue, slit pupils, solid colored eyes, a smell of brimstone, or a deep and menacing voice that accompanies your first. Tieflings are known to have sharp tongues and a powerful, unsettling presence. Your charisma score increases by 1. Choose a dark touch. Detailed below are the touches from Mephistopheles, Devil Prince of the 8th Circle of Hell, Grazit, Demon Lord of Pleasure and Deceit, and the Touch of the Undying, signifying a tie to the Shadowfell. A Touch of Mephistopheles. You gain resistance to fire damage, and gain the ability to cast the Mage Hand cantrip. At 3rd level, you can cast the Hellish Rebuke spell as a 2nd level spell, once per long rest, and you can cast the Darkness spell once per long rest at 5th level. Charisma is your spellcasting ability for these spells. If you have levels in a class that give you the spellcasting ability, you can prepare these spells as though they were on your spell list. They do not count against your number of spells known. Touch of Grazit. You gain resistance to poison damage, and gain the ability to cast the Thaumaturgy cantrip. At 3rd level, you can cast the Disguise Self spell as a 2nd level spell once per long rest, and you can cast the Detect Thought spell once per long rest at 5th level. Charisma is your spellcasting ability for these spells. If you have levels in a class that give you the spellcasting ability, you can prepare these spells as though they were on your spell list. They do not count against your number of spells known. Touch of the Undying. You have resistance to necrotic damage and gain a claw or bite attack you are proficient with that deals 1d4 slashing for claws or piercing for bites damage. At 3rd level, you can use your action to unleash necrotic energy from yourself. For 1 minute, or until you end it as a bonus action, any creature you strike with an attack or spell once per turn takes additional necrotic damage equal to your level. You gain hit points equal to the necrotic damage done with this ability. Please tell me what you think in the comments section, anything you like, anything you would change, anything you don't think works. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. God bless.